Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Image Bearers. I am Lacey Connor. What is up? All right. Today we have Miss Stephanie. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Also, before we get to know Stephanie, before we pray, we also want to introduce our newest addition, our banner. We are legit now. Yay! Yes, she is new. She is big. She is loud. She is proud.
She's making a statement.
She's making a statement. She is representing Image Bearers. So
Love
now
it.
you guys know what the logo looks like, and hopefully you see it in the wild on stickers or wherever else I want to pass out the stuff. All right. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, honey.
Hi. So I also have been seeing that you are normally I used to open the podcast asking people like what their favorite ice cream flavor was.
I know I was prepared for that.
I
'cause
know,
you
but
how
I'm
much I
going
love-
to ask
okay.
you because you actually like post about
Yeah.
the
Scoop
scoops.
Shack.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You always be posting about it. I've
Yeah.
tried it 2 times since you've posted about it.
Okay.
So your posts are actually like bringing in business now.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've had 2 flavors there. I've
Okay.
had a cookie dough one.
Okay.
And then I love that you're like, okay, because you know.
Yeah,
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
and then I've had the like graham cracker one.
Oh,
Both
Graham Central
delicious.
Station. Yes.
But you have been like remixing. I saw one time you had like a espresso with ice cream.
Mm-hmm. So I did that for, they did Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. So they opened from 9 to 12 and they had a full menu and I had already eaten breakfast. So I got espresso chip ice cream and black coffee, which was fantastic.
Was it in it or was it 2 separate?
No, it was in the coffee. So it was a coffee float.
Oh.
Yeah. So espresso chip is the go-to.
All right. So that's your go-to?
That's usually my go-to, or their black raspberry.
All right. So espresso chip, but if you're feeling on the wild side.
Well, it depends because their menu changes every week.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, they don't have the same. The only one that is always, or they have a couple that are always the same, which is Graham Central Station, chocolate, vanilla. I think those are the 3 that are standard. But yeah, they change every week.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yes. So you have to always go or follow them on social media so that way you can see the menu update.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, like we were just promoting, what is it called? Scoop Shack?
Scoop Shack.
I know. I
yes.
hear a lot of people
Nicole
talk.
and Sonia. Yes.
Oh, Nicole and Sonia.
Yeah.
You're a regular. You
Yeah.
know them.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you told me like every Sunday you go?
Every Sunday I go with my mom. Yeah, it's our little date. I see both sets of parents every weekend, but we can get into that later.
I see. Well, that's good though that you're intentional with that.
Yeah.
It's correct. I remember when we first met for coffee, you were like, I told you where I live, and you're like, oh my God, I live so close. You're like, have you been to Scoop Shack? I was like, no, I have passed by it several times.
Yes.
Because at the time my son did jiu-jitsu. Now he does not because he's just too of a sweet spirit.
Aww.
And he didn't understand that like you're supposed to fight people. He thought it was like more like dancing.
Okay.
Where he was like, I did this. Why didn't you hit me with this move?
Yeah.
And then he would just be like crying, be like,
Oh, like a sensitive soul.
Oh my God, such a sensitive. He feels all the emotions.
Aww.
Now currently he is in dance.
Okay.
So he's feeling all the emotions and he is just moving
Loving
with
it.
them. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it cracked me up. We thought he would want to do it because he said like, oh, I want to do that. We're like, okay. And then when we tried it and he was like,
Nope.
he would be like crying. But like the thing was he would be crying on the fighting floor. I don't know exactly what it's called.
Aw.
And then he would be like, they're like, do you want to go see your mom? He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Aw, he was
Right.
trying to push through.
He was, but it was adorable.
Yeah.
All right. So before we start and we get to know you as a person, we are going to say a little prayer. All right.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for all the people in this room, all the gifts you have given them, and all how they are going to glorify you with their gifts. We thank you so much for Stephanie, that she made it here safely, Lord. We pray that the rest of her day is fantastic and magical and that you are with her, Lord. Lord, we pray that Stephanie may be seen, heard, and loved. And we pray that whoever is listening right now, Lord, if they feel alone, if they feel that no one is with them, they know that you are with them. And maybe through Stephanie's story, someone can hear your voice and know that they are not hopeless and that they can find joy in you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
welcome.
All right, Stephanie. You are, let me see, I'm trying to think the adjectives to you are, like I said before we got on, you are the biggest hype man for
Yes.
Image Bearers podcast. I
Yes.
love that you promote it.
I
Because-
love your mission.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's beautiful.
Yes, I love that you can do that. It cracks me up. But it also tells me like how like as you are as a person, you're always rooting for the other person.
Yeah.
And you just see people, I guess, the way I see them. Like
Mhm.
they all have dignity and worth, and every person is worth something in your life is.
100%. Like, everybody has a story, and not everyone, like, we don't know what their story is. So being kind and giving them space, things like that, to be their true, authentic self. Like, I mean, I think that's so important in today's world.
Right, it
Yeah.
is. It is because I feel like we're all so in our own bubble,
Hmm.
and we never really take time to think about other people. But it's also because it's just I feel like this society brings, like, work, 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 hustle,
Right.
flow,
Yeah.
all those things where it's like, do this, do that, and stuff. And I think we need to be reminded to sit down. Also, we just need to slow our butts down,
That
to
part.
be honest.
Yeah, that part.
Take some time for ourselves. Like, it's great to have some hustle, but it also, like, we're not meant to always be going and going.
No, we're meant to rest.
Oh, we are.
For sure.
Amen to that one.
Hmm.
So, yes, with you just your sweet soul and your beautiful red hair,
Thank you.
tell us about yourself. How does Stephanie get where she is today? You can start wherever you want to. When I asked that question, what came to mind?
Man. Stephanie got where she is today through a lot of heartbreak. Um, Man, yeah. I mean, it started when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
We can go all the way back there.
Yeah,
Take
wherever
some
you
time
want to.
travel back.
Right? Take us on this adventure.
My parents got divorced when my sister and I were little.
How young?
I think we were 6 and 4.
Okay.
So, I mean, pretty little. And they made a decision that we were going to live with my dad.
Oh.
So that was pretty, like, life altering. You know,
Mhm.
you're a little kid, you need your mom.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember feeling a lot of fear. I was really worried about, like, how we were going to get to school. Like, is my dad going to be able to take care of us? Is he, like, doing enough for him? Like, things that a child should not be worried about, right?
I
Like,
know. Yeah.
kids are supposed to be having fun and playing and doing all the things. And so, you know, that was really when my fear and safety started. And, you know, through that, in a lot of therapy now, I understand the reasoning why they did what they did.
Yeah.
But that has been the biggest component all through my life is having a safety issue.
All right.
I wanted to be in control of everything. My bills. I was a hairstylist for 19 years. I wanted to control my business. Like, being a perfectionist was part of the gig, and that eventually imploded.
Yeah.
And so that is another big part of my story is my alcoholism. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've got just a little over 3.5 years sober.
All right. I
Yay.
see you, girl. Look at that.
Yeah. So eventually, you know, I started to resent everyone and everything, and I turned to the bottle for that. So with my alcoholism, I had been in treatment at Fairbanks twice. I've gotten 2 DUIs. I was on house arrest,
Right.
probation, all the things.
You got all the stuff
all
happen.
the things. Yeah. And that's what brought me, you know, to be this, like, resilient person now. I've seen all sides of life. I've seen the really, really good, and I've seen really, really bad, where I was staying at the Wheeler Mission.
Right.
So, like, I've had all aspects of life.
Right. It sounds like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's it's so crazy when you were talking about how it started, you know, were you the 4-year-old or 6-year-old? Which
6. I'm the oldest.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
the oldest. I was
Yeah.
like, which child were you?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
That it like something so I mean, like, small and stuff, but that it's a legit thing,
Yeah.
like, especially with your dad and stuff, because I feel like when you're with your mom, it feels a little more like, okay, she kind of knows. Was she normally, before you got parents got divorced, was she normally like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was just a mom?
Yeah. She was just a mom.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting. Why did they, may I ask why?
They wanted to keep us in the school district that we were in.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it.
And so, yeah, it ended up, you know, we ended up with him, and it was great. I mean, I'm a daddy's girl through and
Oh,
through.
you are? Okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
scared. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
I have a great relationship with both sets of parents.
Right.
But yeah, ride or die for my dad.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad he stepped
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I can only imagine. I leave my husband. I mean, no, my husband does a great job, but it's a lot different. Men are just wired. I mean, I feel like men are just wired a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you have to, they're not as good at anticipating needs.
Right.
Would you have said, I mean, you grew up with the father. Would you say,
He did a fantastic job.
did he?
He
Oh, look
did.
at him. The Lord
Yeah.
must have helped him through that.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures of him with me putting barrettes in his hair, and like,
Aw.
he's a daddy. You know, like,
Yeah.
he did what he needed to do to make sure that we got what we needed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's adorable.
Yeah.
I love this. I have a mental picture of him with like,
Yeah.
I don't know what your father looks like, but
Well, he's
am
bald now,
oh, he's
but
bald, but
yeah,
he had
but
some beautiful
he
hair?
had some beautiful, like, strawberry blonde hair,
Okay,
yeah.
that was my next question.
Yeah.
Was it like red,
Yes.
strawberry?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Do
Yeah.
you look more like your mom or your dad?
I look more like my mom.
You do?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm trying to do my mental picture here.
Yeah. Well, if you do a little Facebook stalking, you
I
can
probably
see.
should, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't have time this weekend,
That's all
but
right.
I should have. Sorry.
Yeah.
Normally,
No
I
problem.
Facebook stalk a little bit more. I've only done a little.
Well, I told you I Facebook stalked you or Instagram stalked you before we met for
Right.
coffee that
Well,
day.
it's
So
such like when I meet people for coffee, I've not met them, so it's such like I never had to do like a blind date in my
Yeah.
life. Like I met people like my husband I've known since kindergarten, but before that, like I met people at like parties and
Right.
like friends and
Yeah.
stuff. So meeting people for coffee is like I will sometimes like take a picture of myself and I'm like, this is what I look like.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's legit like a blind date. Like
Yeah.
I'll sit there because I try to get there early most of the time. And I'll sit there with my coffee or like I'll be waiting to, buy them coffee
Right.
because it's like a first date. I'm buying them coffee too.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'll be like, I know this person. They send me a picture and I'll
Yeah.
just take a picture of myself. And then I'm just like, every single person makes eye contact. I'm like, you so-and-so? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, have a good day.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. So it always cracks me up because I stare at people and I will just ask several people nowadays.
Yeah. Well, see, you're getting out of your show more.
I know,
Look at
right?
that.
It's all the Lord.
Yeah,
Let
and
me tell you.
you may meet someone who will strike up a conversation with you. That will be your next guest
Mhm,
here. Who knows?
I know I met a few people,
Okay.
like 2 people at my son's soccer game over the summer that
Yeah.
I've had on the podcast.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so crazy. It's definitely a Lord thing because I'll smile and say like kind of small talk and
Yeah.
stuff. But like these people just, like I'll be chatting with them and then they'll tell me like, not like a deep dark secret,
Right.
but those open
Something
up to me
big.
and then I'd be like, oh my God, do you want to be on my podcast?
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's a very weird exchange,
Yeah.
but it seems so natural.
Yeah.
But then I walk away and I'm like, that was the most in both of us. But
It
but
worked out.
right, it worked
Right.
out.
Yeah.
And here I am just chatting on a podcast.
I love it.
Right? It's very
Yeah.
valid.
Yes.
So when did you start drinking? Like,
So I really didn't start drinking until after I was out of high school.
oh really?
Yeah, I was a good girl because I was terrified of my father.
Aw.
And yeah, like we did the things to make him happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into a relationship pretty early, like right out of high school, and I went to beauty school. And we would drink, but I mean, it wasn't wasn't a bad drinker until like my early 20s. Now, hindsight is 2020, of
Yeah.
course, right? Like when your mom asks you in your early 20s, like for her birthday, she wants you to stop drinking for 30 days, that should be a red flag
Right.
that you might have an issue.
You thought she was just trying to kill your joy. You're out
Exactly.
here living your best life.
Right. And so then after I was probably about 25, 26, I met my first husband,
Mhm.
and he was a big drinker. Like always had a drink in the car. We never showed up anywhere without something to drink. And by something to drink, like a case of beer,
Right.
a box of wine. And so it escalated.
Mhm.
And then being a hairstylist, when my clients would be in, I'd be like, hey, you want a glass of wine while you get your hair done?
Right.
Well, yeah, I'll have one if you have one. Well, of course, I'm going to drink with them.
Right.
So
You don't want to be rude.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I was a pretty heavy drinker, late 20s, early 30s,
Mhm.
and then things hit the fan when I got a divorce.
Okay.
And then COVID hit.
Right. Oh.
So it was a double whammy right there. And I was home and didn't have anything to do. So I
Right.
just sat around and drank.
I mean, I feel like during that time, I was not an alcoholic, but I did find myself sometimes being like,
Yeah.
nothing else to do.
Exactly.
Might as well have a drink. Let's see
Right.
where this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when it really hit the fan.
Uh-huh.
Going through the divorce and when COVID hit.
Right. You got
Yeah.
2 things hitting
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
big and stuff.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to, I guess, get your first like help? Because you said you went to Fairbanks first?
I went to Fairbanks. I didn't really want help, to
Okay.
be honest. My dad and stepmom and my now husband, he
Mhm.
was my boyfriend at the time, had put me in Fairbanks twice. And I had stayed sober. I had gotten a little bit of sobriety underneath me, but it was too easy to go back to it, right?
Mhm.
Like you think, oh, I can handle this. Like I can
Right.
have a drink. I cannot have a drink.
Right.
That's not how it works for me. And so the timeline is very fuzzy, unfortunately, because of my drinking.
Yeah.
But I feel like I went to Fairbanks and then I got a DUI in 2020. It was July 15th of 2020.
Mhm.
And that's when I got my ankle bracelet, was on probation, all that kind of stuff. And I stayed sober for 90 days because that's what I had to do with my ankle bracelet on. And then as soon as that ankle bracelet came off to the races again.
It always kind of like, I don't know if boggles my mind or like, very curious. It's just like, I met not a lot of people, like people that were alcoholics and stuff, but like, even like drugs or stuff, I feel like people can, like, if you give them like a goal or if they get pregnant or something like that, they can just like not drink or do drugs. But then like right when that baby's delivered or you're done, you're done with this deadline.
Yeah, because you're not dealing with the reason why you're drinking or drugging, right? So you've got a timeline, but what is keeping you from? I mean, aside from not what is keeping you from it, but you're not dealing with the trauma.
Yeah,
I mean that's the gateway drug.
Right,
it's trauma.
Right,
it's not pot. It's not anything like that. It's trauma is why people drink and drug is because of what happened in their childhood, a sexual assault, things of that nature. And so if you do not get down to the nitty gritty of why you are numbing yourself out, you'll never stay sober.
Right. And that's so true because I feel like it was never, I mean, I don't know, like I haven't really, I guess my sister is still an addict and she was an alcoholic and now she does drugs still. But, that's honestly, it is the trauma thing. And she still to this day will not like deal with it. Like you have to deal with it.
You have to.
But I feel like that goes with like any kind of thing you do. Like if you're do the most with like social media or any kind of like people just got to deal with their demons, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And that's the hard part is to actually lay that out and stuff.
Yeah. And so, after I got that DUI, I stayed sober, got the ankle bracelet off to the races again. I was back in Fairbanks. This was April-ish, got out, did not stay sober. Got a message from my stepmom who had found Dove Recovery House for Women. She was actually making a delivery to the dentist office, Summerlin Dental, that's at the front of the building. And Miss Wendy, our CEO, had stopped her and thought she was making a donation to Dove. Right? They started talking. My stepmom said, I've got a daughter who has a serious issue. And Miss Wendy said, bring her in. Let's do an assessment on her. And she called me and told me about it. I saw that the wait list was super long. I'm like, cool, I'll just keep drinking, like whatever. And they ended up calling like in no time.
Right.
And I was
like,
there.
No, that
and
wait list.
Yes, the wait list. And so I ended up at Dove House July 16th, 2021, which is a whole year and 1 day from when I got my DUI.
Okay.
That's how long I continued.
Right.
And then here
it takes us sometimes.
Yeah. Yes,
it does. Lord will bring it around. It's just we also have to be willing to.
Yes, absolutely.
That's crazy that you were willing to go in.
Something had to happen. 6 months prior to that, they were telling my parents that I had 6 months to live because my liver was in such bad shape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was drinking, copious amounts every day. So getting into Dove House saved my life. That's all there is to it.
All right. But that you were willing, were you at the time willing to, or you were just like, let's try this?
Yes and no. Like I have a very vivid memory of laying in the bed at our old house and my blood pressure was so high. Like my heart palpitations were so high and I was praying to God. I'm like, please don't let me die. Because I felt like that was what was going to happen was like, I'm going to die. So at that point, yes, but I just couldn't stop. And then once I got drunk, then I felt happy and I was fine, right? So it was this vicious cycle of sobering up, having a hangover, and then getting more in my system and then feeling great. So I knew that I needed, if I wanted to live, that I needed treatment, but I wasn't necessarily ready to go.
You did it.
But I did.
You took the lead.
Yeah, but I did. So,
you did.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I was there for about 30 days that I was like, okay, I probably need to be here because everyone's story there mirrored what mine was.
Right.
Right? Like rough childhood, even though my childhood really wasn't that rough. There was trauma, right? Yeah. And then listening to their stories about going out, getting blackout drunk or, losing days on end. I'm like, okay, these are my people.
Right. You're like, this might be, this
might be a thing.
This might be a thing.
Yeah.
It's not just me just trying to have some fun. Like this is not a good thing.
No.
I think people also think, when someone has like addiction that it was something like super traumatic. Well, sometimes it is, but other times it can just be a divorce. Like
it can, yeah.
It doesn't have to be something so deep because we all deal with stuff different.
And some people, you're exactly right. Like some people's big trauma is someone's little trauma. Yeah. But trauma is trauma. Right. And so it needs to be respected across the board, right? Like I don't tell one of my residents, that's all that happened to you?
Right.
No. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Like, how are we going to work through this? Like, Everybody's trauma, everybody's brain is different. Like, it all needs to be
Alright.
respected and then treated.
Right, that's true. No, that's so good because it's very true and stuff.
Mhm.
Because I think people, I don't know, it breaks my heart when people are like that, where it's like, "Oh, you've only had this done. Like, why
Yeah.
are you acting a fool like this?" and stuff. And it's like every person's different. Some people can handle more trauma, some
Mhm.
people can't. It's
Yep.
just like there's really no like everyone's made different. The Lord
Absolutely.
made us all
Yep.
different.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you currently work for Dove.
I sure do.
I sure do.
Yeah.
I know. I was talking to my husband, Zach, and he was like, who is Stephanie? And I was like, I showed a picture. He's like, oh, she's all over Dove. I'm like,
Yes.
she's repping
Yep.
Dove.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, now I'm a peer specialist there. I originally got hired on as a resident advocate,
Okay.
and just wanted to do direct services, and Dove House made that happen for me.
All right. That's
Yeah.
so what do you exactly do as a
Peer specialist.
peer specialist?
So, as a peer specialist, we're basically there as a resource. So
Mhm.
we're getting driver's license, we're getting birth certificates, we're making doctor's appointments, we're meeting with them about their treatment plan goals, like what they want to focus on, what they've completed, things like that. And then as a peer, right? Like, I've got the experience.
All right.
I'm a recovering alcoholic. Let's talk about what you're feeling today. Celebrating their wins, celebrating their losses, just being someone there for them to check in with, while they're in our program.
All right.
Yeah.
That's so nice of you.
I love it.
I love it.
I do.
Isn't it fun? You do something like you actually love.
Yes. I mean, I loved doing hair
Oh,
too,
yeah.
but like, I love these women. I mean, beyond comprehension.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
I know it seems like everyone I've met from Dove and stuff has been like truly love it, and they really like love the women, and they
Yeah.
really like care about 'em.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stories you've told me and stuff, it's like you normally would not do that for a neural person,
Right.
and you're just like, no, I'll wake up at 1 o'clock in the
Yep.
morning, I'll be on call all
We'll
night.
do whatever we have to do.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you how do you not become jaded?
You do.
You you do.
Yep. I mean, honestly, you do. Um, because I know that this place is such a gift,
Mhm.
right? So it's hard, but it's also taking a step back and remembering that not everyone is ready.
Yeah.
And some people, like, I've said this a couple times, like, Dove House isn't the end all be all. Like, there's other treatment programs out there. So if they don't get it from us, hopefully they'll get it from someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just have to stay present and be like, okay, maybe they're not ready. Maybe they
Right.
need a little more, it is hard because you are emotionally invested in these people.
Mhm.
But they're sick. I'm still sick, right? I
Yeah.
still have to work a program every day. I still have to stay in touch with my higher power every day.
Yeah.
And so I have to keep that in mind that, they're still sick individuals that need help.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you work out like you said, you are still sick, and so how do you work out your own sobriety? Like, because you said every day
Mhm.
you have to.
Yeah. So praying, staying in touch with my higher power. I work a program, a 12-step program. And I just, have to surrender to my disease every day. That's all there is to it. It's just taking that first step every morning that I cannot do this alone.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such like a parallel to own like Christian journey, being a Christian. Like, I do not suffer from addiction, but I suffer from, I don't know, being a human.
Yeah.
And just like my pride, I have to put down. I mean, even
Yes.
like being married is another example. Like,
Yeah.
we're, like you're married to two sinful. I mean, I'm sinful, my husband is. And it's like you have to just like every day lay down your pride and stuff. And I feel like I've talked to you and Christy and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's such like a parallel, I feel like both of them are so like you have to do that. But
Yep.
I just have questions about, I guess, the addiction.
Yeah.
So are you able to when were you able to be in a room with people who drink?
It wasn't very long. Like,
Okay.
I have a memory of going when I was still living at Dove House. My best friend Miranda, she unfortunately lost her life to an overdose. But we had gone to dinner with her mom, and her mom was drinking, and I was like, "Whoa, how do I feel about this?"
Yeah.
And it didn't really bother me too much. My husband is a normie. He does not have addiction problems.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. You call them that.
That's what we call them. That's what you are, is a normie.
I'm a normie?
You're a normie.
Okay, I'll take it.
But he does drink, and we have alcohol in the house.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have zero issues with it.
Real.
Yeah, I mean, it will kill me. It is
Yeah.
a very black and white
Right.
thought. Like, if you drink this, like, you will die because I will not be able to have one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't have any issues with it. We're actually, my mom, my sister, and I are going to an all-inclusive the first week in May, and I have zero qualms about going.
Interesting. Because I've
Yeah.
always wondered that because I've had friends that have been alcoholics and
Yeah.
some will be like, no, I can't be around. Other
Yeah.
people are like, it's completely fine. And I
Yeah.
respect either one. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm fine. I don't need alcohol to have a
Yep.
good time.
Yeah, I have a coworker who cannot be around it. She does not want to be around it. She doesn't want to be around wine glasses, anything like that.
Right.
But everybody is different.
Right. No, it is.
Yeah.
It's such a hard thing to navigate.
Yeah, and especially because we live in a society where alcohol is glorified.
Right, it is.
So being an alcoholic is definitely a struggle because anywhere you go, it's
Right.
there.
And sometimes you just classify as like the fun, messy person.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still fun and messy without
Yeah,
alcohol.
no, just
I
I know,
really am.
right? It's just your personality.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
And if I do have some like random craving or trigger, immediately like I have a support network that I can lean on. My husband is a huge supporter. I will come home and just tell him right out the gate, hey, I had a craving on the way home. I don't know what this is about, things like that. But yeah, I mean, those are few and far between nowadays.
All right.
Yeah.
That's I think it's also great and very like loving your husband to also challenge you on the like when you were in your addiction to be like you need help and to stay with I'm not trying to say he should have left you at all what my statement is saying.
No, you're fair.
but
Yeah.
but that he actually how was that on your marriage like when you first started?
So we weren't married at the time. So we actually are celebrating 2 years today.
Oh,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, we were so unfortunately when we got together, we were a hurricane and a tornado. Is how I've always described it. His wife had just died of breast cancer.
Oh gosh.
And I was getting a divorce. And we got together.
Okay.
So we were just a mess all around.
Yeah.
And then he had the wherewithal to notice that it was a little bit more messy on my end. So we rode a roller coaster through our relationship. I mean, he kicked me out of the house. Like I stayed on people's couches. I stayed with men that I had met in treatment. Like we have, you name it, we've been through it. But he never stopped believing in me.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just the part that blows my mind every day is that he saw the person that I truly am.
All right.
And once I was at Dove, we kind of talked about like we would start dating again because here I am, I'm sober. I don't know if I like this dude. Like,
right. That's true because like you were kind of in the influence the rest of the time and he seemed cool and sexy
he was really
then.
cool. Exactly.
Right?
I'm all loaded and whatnot.
Right.
So he would come down and pick me up and we'd go on dates. I was working part-time at Dollar Tree, which is the job that I worked at when I was on house arrest. So I'd ride the bus down. And then he'd pick me up from work and bring me back and things like that. And yeah, I mean, we just built another bond while I was sober or while I was at Dove House.
Yeah.
And then I came home.
Right.
Yeah. And
All
it's
right.
just been
But I love that
great.
right? It's been good. Now we're 2 years in.
Yeah.
Doing strong. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I asked you that question, then I also was like, if she says no, then this is going to be. I mean, like we
We're
should
gonna make a
talk about, but
left-hand turn.
but I guess we can. Right.
No, we're good.
We can go down that road then.
No, he's fantastic.
But I love that he also like. I guess I felt like the definition. Sometimes I feel like people think of love is that like letting you like like some people would view that like him kicking you out being like. He's not being loving and stuff.
Oh my God. Yes, he was.
Right. But it's
Right.
just like sometimes we have to do stuff like that because we love the person. We see their full potential.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think, I'm very like inspired by your guys' story and marriage because you saw that too. You weren't like, like F you, like you kicked me out. You don't love me.
Yep.
Or you understood that. But did you understand that at the time?
No. No way.
Right. We never do.
No. Yeah, there was definitely some harsh words about what he was doing and how
Right.
dare you and all that. But again, hindsight 2020.
Right. I know we
Yeah.
weren't in it. I mean,
Yeah.
makes sense because we're all the emotions,
Yeah.
all the stuff
And I'm not
happening.
thinking clearly because
No.
I'm, drinking or hungover or whatever
Right.
the case may be. So
That's the worst.
yeah,
feeling.
but everything he did out of love and out of to protect himself too, right? Like I'm putting him through the ringer after his wife just died.
Right.
Like how selfish of me. I mean,
We don't think
completely. I'm not. No, then I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about myself, right?
Right.
But yeah, he had to do what he had to do to protect himself, and lucky for me, he stuck around.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah.
know. Lucky for you.
Yeah.
I know. I love seeing you guys. No, I did look at your Instagram this morning and
Yeah.
saw some adorable pictures of you
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah.
That's so cute. Aw.
Posted for our anniversary.
That it must be. I didn't read
Yeah.
the thing because
Yeah.
my children were trying to talk to me,
That's
but I
fair.
did see like, oh, look at that. Like that's what her husband looks like.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I remember you talking about him, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh,
Now you
adorable.
know.
Now I
Yeah.
know what he looks like. So I have a
Yeah.
mental picture of you and him.
Oh,
I'm still working on your parents'
that's fine.
mental picture, but it's okay. All right. So what brings now? Because it sounds like before with you used to rely on alcohol for your joy because
Mhm.
you were in a hopeless.
Yeah.
What brings joy in your soul now?
Joy in my soul is just life. I
Is
mean,
it?
it really is. I know it sounds so cliche, but
Right.
like the joy of just like waking up, and when you get sober, you find the beauty in the small things.
Mm,
And there's staying in gratitude, right? Like
yeah.
having gratitude that my cat is waking me up at 4:45 in the morning because she
Oh,
wants to spend time with me.
oh,
But yeah, that is where the joy comes from. And just I mean, it's in everything. It's in being here with you today,
right. Oh,
right?
good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could
Yeah.
bring you joy in your
Yes.
soul.
Yeah.
Joy.
And ice cream.
And nice. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And Diet
Scoop
Coke.
snacks.
Yeah.
Oh, Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Are you a normal Diet Coke or do you have to go to McDonald's to have
McDonald's
Diet
Diet Coke, yes.
Coke? Right? This
Yeah.
stuff is crack.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
people, it's a vibe and
Yeah.
people are here for it.
Yes. Yeah.
And the whole like soda vibe right now
Yes.
is just blowing up right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. The swig that's
The
on the north
swig.
side.
I know. I
Yeah.
still haven't got it's right next to my son's dance thing.
Okay.
And it legit is the longest line.
Yeah. One of my coworkers said that they waited in line for like an hour and 20 minutes one day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I will never wait in line for anything that long.
Right. And
No.
I guess it was all like made famous by the secret lives of
Yeah.
Mormon women or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like called like dirty sodas or something.
Yes.
Super scandalous.
Yes.
But yeah, I went to a networking party and they had like they didn't have any like alcohol, which is fine. I don't care. But they had a whole like soda bar with
Yeah.
like dirty sodas.
Interesting.
And I was like, what is this?
Right? It's
Like
a whole new world.
it is. It's a whole new world. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mormons, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Mormon wives. We digress.
Yes.
But I was just seeing where you were in the soda game.
Fair.
But yes.
Yeah.
So you said you rely on a higher power.
Yeah.
And when did you come about? I don't know how it says. Come about being in it. Like,
So when I found God.
okay, thank you.
So,
I was like, I don't
yeah.
know. When did you find God? When did you
So-
have that relationship?
So that relationship started, like, my parents, like, I've always believed in God.
Mhm.
But when I got my DUI in 2010, I got into going to church and doing all the things. And so I had built that foundation then.
Yeah.
And then strayed when I met my ex-husband. It just wasn't important anymore
Right.
to me. He was my God.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And
Which happens a lot.
it does.
Yeah.
And I see it in my women at Dove House
Right.
too, where I'm like, no dating. Like, stop it, knock it off. Higher power. That's all you
Right.
need right now.
All right.
And then the reconnection came when I got back to Dove House,
Mhm.
for sure. So I went through a fellowship at Dove House called with Hope Anchor and Crew. Have you heard of them?
No.
It's a bracelet making. Well, they have a whole bunch of things, but it's on the north side. And they came into Dove House and did a fellowship where we talked about 10 areas of life, and it was biblically based.
Oh.
And the facilitator who did it, her name's Robin Thompson. She might be somebody you might want to
I
interview.
know, right? I was legit, but I was like, once we got off the thing, I'm
Lindsay
gonna
Schloss is the owner.
Okay.
But and love Lindsay. She ended up employing me, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But Robin led the fellowship,
Okay.
and she brought me back to God. I mean,
Really? Yeah.
hands down, like, she put my hand back in his hand. Like, she is the reason why I love God the way that I do. And so she got me a Bible, everything. And so ever since then, it's, I mean, an everyday thing
Mhm.
of talking to him. I go to church on the north side, love my church, just love the relationship that I have with my higher power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's great and stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of it too because I love me some God too.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
I wouldn't be the person I am today,
Mhm.
especially a mother. Whew.
Right.
We all got those challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's crazy. I mean, like, it just blows my mind. Like, maybe because I seem very extroverted, but I'm very like, I have to pray every day to be like bold
Yeah.
and stuff. But like, so like stuff like that where someone like came in, talked to you and stuff and just like, just brought you around.
She did. Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
And that's just like so crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I hope to do that. Maybe I am. I mean, I'm all about planting little like seeds because I think
Yeah.
when I was younger and stuff, it was like, you got to turn this person around because they're going to hell and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not that crazy. And I feel like more than anything, it's how we live our life and how we interact with people.
Absolutely.
Because either way, like we need to, most of the time now I look at this world and you can't really tell the difference between a Christian and a normal person.
Right.
I guess, I don't know. I don't want to like segregate. Like, we're all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to cause any divisiveness.
Yes.
But I think it's just so like wonderful that people do like, I'm going to definitely have to get her on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I digress again.
Yeah,
you give me
you're
all
right.
these ideas.
Yeah,
all
you're
the
good.
ideas.
Do you need a pen and paper?
I know, right? No, we'll text later.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
We'll get numbers later.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
So, you said, are you involved in any of your church or?
So I signed up, and I've only been a couple times to the prison ministry. So we go into Pendleton, correctional facility, and take church in there. With my surgery and life be life, and the past couple of months I haven't been back. But that is something that's heavy on my heart, is getting involved in the justice system. If I had it all over again, I would do something with that. And maybe there's something in the future, who knows?
Right.
But I see so many women who come out and, they may not have a substance use issue, but they need to be integrated back into the world, right? And we don't really have that stepping stone for men or women right now. So the leader of the prison ministries, he's very big on trying to get that for men coming out of Pendleton or other prisons around the state. So yeah, that's something that's on my heart that I'm hoping will expand as years to come.
I know. I feel like I watch like a lot of like, I love me some documentaries.
Yeah.
And a lot of prison documentaries.
Yeah.
That and cult ones. Love me some cult ones. Those, so great. But I just feel like jail is supposed to be like rehabilitate. Yeah.
But it's not.
It does not once.
No.
I mean, what I've seen in the documentaries and stuff, and I've talked to a few people that were in like jail and stuff, and they're like, no.
Like it's not rehabilitation, it's punitive, right? And so we at Dove House work with Marion County and Hancock County, and they have a drug treatment program. So our women who come to us from those counties, if they're in the program, come to us from those counties, like they are able to get their felonies off their records if they complete the program. Like they come to Dove House for treatment. So those judges are wanting for them to have more rehabilitation than punitive. And so I love that about those. Yeah.
Because people can, people can change. I mean, you're in the streets drinking, all that and stuff. And it's like, there is people in this world that their hearts are good. It's just from trauma and from like, they just thought they had no other decision. Like they thought this is the only choice they could do.
And a lot of people still think that when they get out of jail, like they don't know a life outside of, drinking, drugging, stealing, things like that. They don't know what to do when they get out, and they're normal now, right? Like you're out and you need to work a job and you need to find housing. Housing is a huge issue. Trying to find safe housing, and if you have a felony, like, that's such a big thing of not living in the projects and trying to stay sober. Right. So. Yeah, there's so many barriers for people who are incarcerated or who struggle with substance use disorder in this world. And it breaks my heart.
Right, because it's so true. I mean, like, just thinking about it and stuff, it's very true because they get out and this world still tells them they're the same person.
Exactly.
Like, and plus, they're trying to get better, but the only housing they have, like you said, in the ghetto, in most places, the ghetto is known to have, like, the stuff they were struggling with.
Exactly.
So you go right back into it.
Yep, because it's easy.
Yeah, it'd be like once you got a Dove, your house was a liquor store or something.
Exactly.
You were strong, but
but still.
Right?
Yeah.
You may have stumped your toe and then you need something to deal with.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Right? That's such a, you never think about it. I mean, because it's just like, I feel like, like people are like, oh, you went to jail. You just automatically, like kind of, it stays with you. It's kind of like a lot of other stuff in life. Like, this world still tells you, like, still shames you and that you're still the same person.
Yep.
So it's beautiful that there's a prison ministry that your church does.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hardship of you being diagnosed with cancer.
Yep.
So in my mind, I think in pictures, and and so what I see is like you getting, not getting over being alcohol because it's always going to be with you, but you, in a way, overcoming this big valley.
Yep.
And then now you're going up on the mountain, and then boom. How long ago did you get diagnosed?
Well,
now you're...
Yeah. So prior to, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I had melanoma.
Oh.
So I had melanoma in 2023.
Okay.
Yep. So that one, to be honest, was smooth sailing, no lymph node involvement. Just had a surgery and good to go. And then I went on my 40th birthday last year to get my first mammogram. And they had called me and said, you need to come back. We need to do more imaging. So went back. It was actually on my husband's late wife's birthday, January 18th.
Oh my God, you're gonna kill this man.
Yeah, I know, right? And yeah, they were like, there's something there. We're gonna have to do MRI on you. I was sitting in the lobby with the tech and I was crying, and she was like, it's gonna be okay. And I was like, it's not. Like, it's my husband's late wife's. It's not her birthday. It was her death date. I'm sorry, her death date. And I was like, I have to go home and tell him. And she was like, well, go have a drink and then go tell him. And I was like, and I'm a recovering alcoholic.
And she probably was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? Because it's such a go-to to be like,
right,
it's
just have a
Rob,
drink.
go get you a shot and then go do it.
Yeah, poor girl. So,
I know, right? I bet she was like, oh no.
Yeah. So went home, told him, and it was just, it was, everything under the sun. Like, I'm going to be okay, to, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, what is going to happen? And I just was praying so hard every day, and I could not surrender my thoughts.
Right.
It was the worst. And then we got, I'll never forget, I was putting laundry into the washing machine. I had my notifications on my phone. My father-in-law was staying with us, and it came through that my results were in. And it was 5:00 on a Friday night. Opened them up, sitting on the couch, and I read it like 15 times, and it was invasive lobular carcinoma. And I just started crying.
All right.
Like, oh my God. So yeah, it was definitely a jolt to us, for sure, because of course we think about Lauren. She had triple negative breast cancer. She was diagnosed in August, and she was gone the following January. So it was that fast.
All right.
And just dealing with the waiting, right?
I know, right? The waiting.
The waiting was the worst.
Right.
And although my faith is so strong, and I knew he was going to take care of me, like he was going to walk with me through this, because he's never let me down before. I didn't know what that was going to look like.
Right. And that's the scary part.
Yeah. And so best prognosis I could have, stage 1, grade 1.
Okay.
Single mastectomy, and then 25 rounds of radiation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a lot? I don't know.
It's a lot.
Okay.
So every day for 5 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. So just to make sure that they got all the cancer, anything that was left behind. And then I had to wait 6 months for reconstruction, which I just had, thank goodness. And then now on hormone suppressive therapy for the next 5 years.
For 5 years?
5 years.
Ah.
Yeah.
So how was that breaking the news to, I guess, your husband? Like, how did you guys work through this in this waiting period? Besides praying, did you have a community network? I know Wendy,
Wendy was huge.
Right.
Wendy was huge. To walk me through everything and to talk with him. One of our therapists at Dove House actually came and sat with Drew and talked with him through it. But kudos to him. He did not compare stories.
Right.
He was like, this is
really?
completely different. Like, and that he would go to doctor's appointments with me, and I would be, early on, like, are you okay? Like, yep, I'm good. And I just had to trust him with that.
Right.
Right. We have such great communication now. We talk about anything and everything. And so I didn't want to keep harping, I guess, on him.
Right.
Like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Right.
Like, I had to know that if he was not okay, he would tell me.
Right.
But yeah, he just viewed our situations completely different, and he went to doctor's appointments with me if I wanted him to. A lot of times I didn't want him to. I didn't think he needed to go. My recovery was easy. It was, I had a limb cut off basically, but yeah.
It's as easy as you.
Yeah, as easy as it could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a trooper through all of it.
That's so, I just hear that, like, the Lord really, like, kept you guys in this and stuff. He was like, it wasn't like, you're still a human and you're going to be, like, especially in that waiting period, just all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, it's such a blessing. It's human nature, I feel like, on any person's part, if they already had a significant other pass away, to be like, oh my gosh, like,
right,
this is going to happen. Like, to be in, but it sounds like he wasn't really much. He probably was a little bit in his head, because we're all human. We're all in our head a little bit.
Hell, I was in my head.
Right, right. You were like, I was all up in my head. I was going all scenarios, especially you trying to do what you said in the beginning, have you have trouble with like control and stuff, and you being like, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. I had to surrender that control.
or you
'cause
did.
I couldn't. I mean, there was nothing I could do. I could just show up to my doctor's appointments. That's
Right.
it. And
Right.
handle the news that they gave me.
Right. And just, I mean, I also suffer with control. And now you're making me think that maybe it's also because my parents got divorced when I was young.
Could
I
be.
mean, it could
There
be.
could be
When you
something
said
that
that,
stems
I
from
was
it.
like, Lord, you are trying, because I've always like, lately I have been being like, why am I always about this control? Like, I thought I didn't really have that much, I mean, like, I thought I didn't really have that much control problem, but now that I have kids and like,
Yeah.
they mess up your schedule
Yeah.
a whole bunch, and I'm like, oh, Lord. And then you said that, and I was like, Lord, you be joking
Yeah.
with me.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Sassy Jesus. That's what. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Sassy Jesus.
He's a jokester sometimes. He'll get you.
Yeah.
But that's, like I said, I just feel like the Lord really kept you guys and stuff, and like
Yeah.
stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But he was with you through that valley and
Absolutely.
stuff. And through that valley, there was flowers and there was still stuff growing and stuff. And it
Absolutely.
sounds like with, like your relationship with Wendy, with, Dove came and helped, the therapist. That's just, I mean, like, it's just so great to see
Yeah, we
the
have
Lord working.
so
in
many
that.
blessings in our life.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. Yeah. But yeah, Wendy was just, she's Wendy. She's
Right.
remarkable.
Y'all need to listen to her episode. I forgot what episode it is, but was it Empowering Women with Addiction, maybe? I don't know. And it says Wendy No on it. So just look at that one.
Check her out.
Check her out. She's great. I know I had a lot of people who really liked her episode because it was very like informative for addiction.
Yeah.
It is, because I felt like with addiction, it puts like a humanity on it. Like, especially her explaining, like I had tons of people be like, oh my gosh, like I never thought like addict whenever they started the addiction was like, that's the age-wise, like mentality-wise.
Yeah,
like,
that's when the brain stops.
right? That was like wig snatching a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like people were just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I think she shared on it that like our average age of use is around 13 or 14 years old.
Right.
Which is just
It's crazy. Isn't it? But I mean, that's just such a pivotal time, I feel like, too, because that's like middle school, high school. I don't know, it's beginning of like high school time and stuff.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that that happens.
Yeah, because your prefrontal cortex is not completely formed until you're 25, 26 years old.
Right.
So you're not a good decision maker.
No.
Right?
Right. And that's just crazy altogether. Like that's that old and stuff. I mean, it helps me understand like people, these young ones now being like, they're new.
Yeah,
they don't understand.
Their brain's not completely formed.
Right.
That's the excuse for everything.
Right. That and just now like I'm at the age and so are you. I mean, that is just like, it's crazy. Now we're like the old people.
Yes. All the new slang. I'm like, what are you saying? Can you just talk normally?
Right.
And now I'm my dad. Yeah.
Right. I'm just even like when I look at like, like YouTube, like, I mean, not YouTube, like, Instagram and all that. I'm just like, oh my God, especially the way they dress and all that. I'm like, oh my God, especially like this 90s thing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
It's so like, I'm just like, now we're like known as like retro.
We are retro, yeah.
And now people are having like 90s parties. Like we used to have like 80s and stuff. Like we're
the era now.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Now it's like, you're welcome, Gen Z, for all this stuff.
Yes. I love it.
We went through the era. Now you're trying to be in it.
Yeah, now you want to be like us. Good try.
It cracks her up. Oh my gosh. So what do you how does your faith help you in like your normal life job, like especially with this peer counselor
Specialist.
Thank you. I got the peer part. Specialist is getting me slowly. I don't know why.
Just peer recovery.
Just peer recovery.
Yeah.
How does it how do you, I mean, because I know you're not fully, I know you're not coming at people strong.
No, so that's the thing. We are not a faith-based recovery house. So I don't keep it quiet per se, but I also don't blast it from the rooftops.
All right.
Like I'm very vocal about it on my social media, and I mean, all the doves know, but it's not a conversation that I necessarily have with them when we're having a one-on-one session. Unless they give me some inclination that they want that.
And I don't think you need to. I think it's very like early 90s, early 2000s to like come at people strong with that, because you don't have to. I feel like the Lord just brings up opportunities to talk about it.
Absolutely. And so like when I say higher power, like I've said many times in this, it's just because I'm programmed that way. I mean, God and Jesus.
No, I know what you mean.
But to my doves, like whatever their higher power, they so choose. And so but I'll have some that will inquire, and I will give them the full story on how God has carried me through and kept me alive. And, there's been multiple situations that I shouldn't have made it out of. But I think walking the walk, right?
Oh,
Walking the
amen
walk
to that.
is
Yes.
what they see in me,
Right.
as a Christian. I don't have to necessarily talk about it. It's how I present myself when I come to work,
Yeah.
how I interact with the other doves, how I interact with my peers, how I interact with my husband, how I interact with my family. I think, it's just walking the walk is how it is in my everyday life.
And I think that's like such a valid thing. And I think it's something that more people, like I try to do and
Mhm.
stuff because it's like, I don't know. I think it was just the era we grew up in where it was just like, currently right now, there's still just so like divisiveness in
Yeah.
it where it's like, it's not supposed to be this way. Like it
Right.
hurts my heart that like people view the church as like you can't go to it.
Right.
Like no matter like where I
Yeah.
had another person who last week when we were doing the podcast, it was like you don't clean yourself up before you go to take a shower. You just go.
You
You know
just
what I mean?
go.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast too,
Yeah.
is also being like, come as you are.
Yeah.
And it just
Vulnerable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And come to the church and stuff.
Mhm.
And if you walk in the church and you feel like shamed or, like
Mhm.
that you're a bad person, then you should get out of that church. Period.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Period. You
Yeah.
should like if it's a true church, you should walk in and feel like loved and feel like you're supposed to be here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Welcomed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you with what you do at Dove, because I keep screwing your what you do at Dove, you welcome people, you still
Yeah.
have that Christian aspect. But I feel being a Christian, you shouldn't you should not, especially if they don't know the Lord, like you should not judge them.
Right.
Because I love that you are a light and beacon to these people.
Oh.
You're welcome. And that you plant seeds in them and you're not like, I'm a Christian and stuff, but like what you're doing is wrong. You're like, I've been there.
Mhm.
Let me tell you how the Lord has saved me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to come at you strong.
Yeah.
But it's just that's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk about self-efficacy all the time at work too, like making your own decisions, right? Like while you live at Dove House, you're going to work a 12-step program. You're going to adhere to the Dove House program. But when you leave Dove House, you can work your sobriety however you want. You
Right.
can work your faith however you want. Because that's what makes us individuals, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what makes the world go round. And I want them to have that opportunity to explore and go, okay, yes, this worked for me, or no, this
Right.
didn't work for me, or whatever. Like I once I left Dove House, I explored other forms of recovery before I came back to my 12-step
Oh,
program.
really?
I did, because I wasn't exactly sure that it was the
Right.
right fit for me, right?
Yeah.
And so I want all the doves to have, or anybody
Yeah.
looking for recovery, to have that opportunity to find their true, authentic self.
Right.
Right. What makes you happy? What keeps you sober? What keeps you connected to your higher power?
Yes.
That's your choice.
That's what's going to keep you, that's what's going to make it stick. Like,
exactly.
if it's not
Yes.
something you like feel in your body, if
Yeah.
it's not something you're choosing, you could be easily like argued out of it. Like,
Right.
if you can be argued into it, you can be argued out of it. It
For
has
sure.
to be real to you.
Right.
So then you have to go on that, I guess, adventure by yourself.
Yep.
And that's nice that you give up. Like you tell them, but it's also like you do you, but let me tell you
Yeah.
what happened with me.
What worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so great.
Take what you want, leave
Yeah.
the rest.
Right? You're
Yeah.
like, I'm just here for you. I'm here to love on you.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
I know. I was talking to Christy, and Christy was like, oh, yeah, no. She said she had, when she went there, she had a counselor that was Christian. And then she was like, and then Stephanie was in the house.
Yeah. Yep. She knows.
It just cracks me up.
Mhm.
But I do love also that Dove brings in like, like a Christian kind of thing.
Yeah, we have all of us are such a diverse group.
Right.
Everyone that works there is so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But do you believe that there needs, it doesn't need to be, like, I don't want to say that, but like there needs to be, I guess I'm going to keep saying it because I just said it, like a higher power,
Yes.
something more,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
you believe, okay.
Yes, 100%.
You're like, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Need correct. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
Because we can't lean on our own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We just can't.
That's what the Bible says.
Yeah,
but.
that, and we're human.
Mm-hmm.
We make mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to lean on something higher than yourself.
What do you tell someone? Because I feel like a lot of addiction, just a lot of stuff in life, is very like shame driven, kind of like
absolutely.
hopeless. What would
Yeah.
you what do you tell your doves
Mhm.
that when they come in and they like are like they're just full of all this heaviness?
There's just
How
it's
do you address something
It's
like
building rapport with them
Okay.
first out the gate,
Yeah.
right? But also reminding them that they're worthy of so much. I started a self-love group
this?
about I don't know, 4 months ago at Dove House.
Oh, this is new.
It's new.
Yes.
Because, like, if you don't love yourself, how are we going to work a recovery program?
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, I am worthy, I am capable, all these things. So that's how we start the group, is
Right.
you are going to say an I am statement.
Uh-huh.
And so I encourage them to do that. Like, you are worthy of this. You are worthy of recovery. You're worthy of all the things, like, because you're human and you're beautiful and wonderfully created in God's image.
Right. I mean, that's how we feel.
Yeah,
Yes.
but sometimes I will say it because it's true.
I mean, it is. You're not gonna
Yeah.
you're not gonna be like not saying it because you do believe him, and that's how you view people.
Yeah. And if it rubs them the wrong way, it rubs them the wrong way.
Right.
Sometimes you have to take a risk and just say the
You do.
things.
Yeah.
And sometimes the light bulb will go off. Right. But yeah, it's just encouraging them and just talking to them. I know that sounds really weird, but like having a real conversation with them.
Right.
Because many of these women have never really interacted in a normal way with someone, in a healthy way.
Right.
Some of them have never been hugged, right?
Right.
They, just those simple
Isn't that
interactions.
bananas?
Yeah, that you and I are used to having, they've never had.
Right. I'm in the streets hugging everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just sitting down and having a conversation, asking, "How are you?" And people will be like, "Oh."
Right.
Like it's uncomfortable to them because no one's cared about them.
That was going to be my next question. Like, what do you see since you've started the group, or even before you started the group? Because there's probably a reason why you started, because you saw a need for it. But like, do you see the transition? Like when you first start talking to them, you said like when you're like, "Hi," and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, do you see like, does that like, how does that make you like? I don't know. How does it make you feel? I feel like it's so weird, but I'm also in my mind thinking like, that's like, it's an adjustment. But do you see them like at first being like they can recognize like they have value, and then by the end of it,
you can see the transformation, and it just makes my heart explode. Like having a resident who I can't really get a lot out of, and it's a struggle to build rapport with them. And 4 months later, they're in my door like, "Hey, how's your day so far?" And I'm like, "It's good." Like they're out of their shell and they're feeling more comfortable, or they're going in and talking to Wendy, unprovoked. Like it's a beautiful thing.
That's just crazy. I mean, like, it hurts my heart that there's women out there that like don't have that. Right?
Yeah.
It's just so sad. I think because I grew up with parents, and I grew up with people. I mean, there was times when I had a lot of unloving people in this life. And stuff, some bad boyfriends and stuff.
Yeah.
But that like people just all together have not like.
Like parents, like one resident in particular that it was coming to mind, like her mom sold her to someone.
Oh.
Right? Like, thinking about that the person that you trust that brought you into the world was given money for you as a human.
Right. I know it's.
Yeah. Like mind-boggling.
I know. I was just talking to someone at church yesterday. She does foster care, and she's taking in 2 foster kids. And the reason why they got in the system, so they got taken away from their parents, and then were given to like the parents' like friend, and the friend tried to sell the two kids.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
right.
What?
Yeah.
Like, but the thing is, like, I feel like also this needs to come to light that this is a real thing. Like people. I mean, like when I used to work in labor and delivery and stuff too, I had a few people that were like in human trafficking and stuff, and they got into it. I mean, they couldn't like they couldn't say it, but like you start chatting and you're like, I'm getting this vibe, wink if there's something going on,
right?
And we were like, they would sometimes like open up if the other adult wasn't in there and stuff. And one of them told me, it was like, I got sold, and then since then I'm like this is what, and you can't. The hard thing is too, you can't really like. You can kind of tell. I mean, like you can tell someone, but like they can't really do anything unless they tell you, like,
right?
Straight up,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just in this world, there's just so much like sadness, and this is such a thing. There's people being sold for stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it hurts. I mean, no, my heart's just being hurt so much. I guess during this, but like it's just,
it's real life.
Yeah,
it's real life, and we don't know about it, right?
No.
Like if you would have asked me in my early 20s if I ever thought that my life would turn out this way, and I would have the vast knowledge of the pain and suffering that people go through, I would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not the world I live in, right? I live in this bubble of happy, joy, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I sit with these women and I hear these stories, and I'm just flabbergasted by what goes on, and grateful that I didn't experience them, but I get to be there for them now, right? Like I had a great life, lost it all. Now I have a fantastic life again, whereas some of these women have never known a great life.
Yeah.
And that is the ultimate goal, right? While they're at Dove, let us instill these things to build you a foundation so you can make a great life for yourself,
right?
Whatever that looks like.
No, it's so true. And I love that It's just, it's how did you work through, like, at first? Because did you feel kind of like, I wouldn't say imposter, but like that
No,
kind of,
yeah.
you know what I
Oh, I
mean? Like
still
at
struggle
first,
with it.
you still do,
Yeah,
like,
I still talk about that often about like, I haven't had such a hard life.
yeah,
Right? Like we talked about in the beginning, like big trauma, little trauma, like, but I have been there. I know it. And I empathize with these women of the things that they've been through because it's pain. It's
yeah,
pain, it's trauma, it's addiction. But I have earned my seat.
yeah,
I know that I've earned my seat in the program that I work. I've earned my seat at Dove House. And I mean, they trust me. And so I'm doing something
all
right.
right. And then you're
Yeah.
like, I must be,
Yeah.
the Lord is with you.
The Lord is with me. They
Right,
love me. They love coming. Even
right.
the ones that aren't even on my caseload still will come and visit me in my office. They love my groups, things
Oh,
like that. So yeah,
they just be loving on you.
that they do,
I
and
mean,
I love them.
it's a definitely like a, the Lord has given you this,
Oh my
like,
gosh, yes.
space, I mean, position, space to hold the personality and
Hmm.
stuff. Because, but I honestly also feel like you don't have to, like, I went through a kind of something like that when I worked at labor and delivery downtown, because I was just like, these people would, tell me all, all this stuff. And
Hmm.
I'd be like, who, like, I've not gone through this stuff. So I don't know how I can, like, help them. But, like, honestly, all you need to do is just be there
Absolutely,
and,
that's it.
tell them that they're worth
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Just give them space. That's
Right?
all. They don't need to be preached to.
No.
That's not. I'm never coming at them from that angle or anything like that. If they ask for advice, I'll give it,
Oh, yeah.
right? But otherwise, I'm here to just listen, and that's all that people really want. Whether you're in addiction or not, people just want to be heard.
They do. Oh my god, yes. No, and that's what I mean, that's why it's called Seen, Heard, and
Yeah.
Loved
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, and I think it's so crazy that people think that you need to, like, preach to them. Because I found this
Hmm.
with the podcast. I'll have some people that, like, don't believe how I believe, or,
Hmm.
like, are not the same, like, they'll, give credit to the Lord a little bit, but then they'll also, like, be like,
Oh.
go into, like, other kinds of forms of spirituality.
Hmm.
And I'm like, it's honestly not my place unless they say something that, like,
Yeah.
I have, like, absolute fundamental truths that, like,
Hmm.
if you say something and I'm like, that is not, like, something I stand on. But
Yeah.
there's not, like, in the Christian faith, I feel like there's not, like, there's tons of, like, secondary. There's tons of preferences people have.
Right.
But there is fundamental, like, things that you're like, no, I'm not going to budge on
Hmm.
that. But then I get people, on the podcast being like, well, why didn't you challenge them on this or say this? And I'm like, it's not my place.
Some
Plus,
place. Oh.
this is their story.
Yeah.
Unless they say something that's, like, super blasphemy. And I'm
Right.
like, no, hold up one second. This is not my place.
Yeah.
My place is to give them a platform to tell their story, because I believe their story could put words to other people's stories
Absolutely.
and make them feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
Like I constantly say on the podcast, like, I feel like one thing the devil does is make people feel like they're alone.
Yes.
We have all these
Isolation. Yep.
all these outlets of social media we've had so much, we know everyone's business,
Mhm.
but we still just, like, you can be in a room of a whole bunch of people and still feel alone.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast,
Yeah.
and I guess with your story too,
Yeah.
just to be like, you're not alone, and there's
Nope.
people here, and that you are, like, you're worth something.
Yeah.
Because you're made in God's image.
Yep.
The creator of heaven and earth.
Yep. 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
You concur?
I concur.
You feel me, girl?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. So you started this beautiful self-love
Yeah.
group. I love this for you.
Mhm.
I mean, like, I love it. I wish I could just, like, be like, have, like, just be in. I love the whole, like, Dove thing.
Just
I
come
love
one day and hang out.
right?
Yeah.
And be like, let's just have a podcast
Yes.
at Dove Recovery.
Yeah. Just
And
hang
just
out.
sit there and chat with everyone's
Yeah.
story. Oh my God, you just gave me an idea. I don't know. I don't know if my budget can handle it, but
Right.
we'll see.
Right.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone, I mean, like, I just love the stories, and I love, like, the whole thing, what Dove is doing, where it's like a safe place for
Mhm.
people.
And I will tell you hands down that is the reason why I got sober, because safety was my issue.
Right?
And I was safe at Dove House.
Right.
So that's one of my big things. Like, and I tell the women right out the gate, like, if you are going to put this place in jeopardy by bringing drugs or alcohol, you're not going to like me.
Right.
Because safety is my number one priority here. They
What-
should be able to come to a place, sleep, eat, do the things they need to do, and not have to worry that someone's going to jeopardize that.
Right. That's very true.
Yeah.
So that was when you said, when you had your journey at
Mhm.
Dove, safety was a thing. Were
Yep.
is it like, what does that mean? I mean, like, I know what it means, but,
Yeah.
like, what did it mean to you?
It meant having, having a roof over my head,
Yeah.
having something to eat. I mean, I would go weeks without eating because
Yeah.
I'd rather drink it.
Okay,
right?
fair enough, yeah.
And yeah, so I had a meal. I was able to take a nap. I had clothes. I could take a shower. Yeah, it was
Right.
just those basic human needs were met. And that is one of the biggest things that keeps people from staying sober, getting sober, is having your basic human needs met.
All right.
And Dove provides all of that.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, it's such a small, I mean, I say because it's like such a small thing. Like I honestly would not have thought of, I mean, I guess I said safety, but that must have been the Holy Spirit because I just think of like the community part of it. I love that
Mm-mm.
because I'm very like all
Yeah.
about community because
Yeah.
when growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends. I'm
Mhm.
like, and I feel like if you are in some kind of community, then it makes you feel like also that you're
Because,
not
yeah,
alone.
yeah, you've got the fellowship and things like that, but having those basic needs met is
Right.
the biggest thing.
Right. And I feel like that goes with like a whole, not even just, I mean, with addiction and stuff, but just like in life. Like when I
Yes.
used to have bereavement patients in labor and delivery, like the people who've lost their
Mhm.
babies and stuff. And people always used to ask me, because I used to do a lot of them, like when I'd have other nurses I would hand off, they'd be like, well, what do I do? What do I say? And I'd
Yeah.
just be like, meet their basic needs. Be
Yep.
like, are you hungry?
Right.
Do you need a new gown?
Mhm.
Have you gone to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Do you need me to comb your hair?
Right.
Just, and that's literally more better than most of the time anything you can say.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Absolutely.
open up to you. I mean, like, and I guess it's very true now that you said that. Like, if they, and this just came to me now, if you meet people's basic needs,
Mhm.
they will be more receptive.
Absolutely.
And it's more like they just want,
They just wanna be
some
heard.
food and they want to
Yeah.
be slept and they
Yeah.
want,
Yeah,
right?
they just want those basic things.
Right?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Right.
Who knew?
Right. Yeah. So Dove House gives them that.
Right?
Yeah.
That is, you got me there, Stephanie.
Yeah.
So
I see the
it's-
wheels turning.
I know. I got the wheels. The wheels are turning, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna leave later takes. All I do, like, I'm someone who like marinates on stuff,
Yeah.
and like I like even like in the Bible, like I'll read like two passenger. I can't even talk right now. Passages, and be like, interesting. That seemed very basic, and I'd be driving, being like, maybe he meant this. What isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that's like constantly
Yeah.
like I need to like I just reevaluate stuff
Yep.
over and over.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
just me. I mean, but I feel like it's just a parallel, like in life. I think altogether.
Yeah.
Steve, you can go
Mhm.
real deep with that, Stephanie.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, Stephanie, what you been like? What's life for you?
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Life is good.
What's been going on in your life? What's beautiful? I
Yeah.
mean, you said coming here and stuff. What you got? You live by me.
I do live by you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got my little kitty cat that we
Right.
adopted at the beginning of December, which we weren't planning on doing. But
Oh.
she found us.
So, were you normally a cat person?
No, heck no. I was a
Right.
dog person.
Right.
Yeah. She showed up at Dove House.
And you just kept her?
And long story short, we brought her in and figured out if she was chipped or not. And I asked Drew if I could bring her home for the weekend. And here we are.
Here we are with a cat.
And she's adorable. and we
People
her.
love people. I grew up with cats, and the thing is, I have such horrible allergies. So
Okay.
I just took one for
Yeah.
for the team because
Yeah.
my sister has like 5 cats.
Okay.
But I also think she's doing that for like some kind of psychological need. Her basic needs aren't being met, I guess.
There's that. Yeah.
But yeah, so do you have a dog too, or
No, we don't. We
Okay.
don't. We had no pets.
We had no pet, but
Yeah.
you liked dogs.
Yeah.
See, I'm
Yeah.
just not like altogether. It's not like I just don't. I'm not a big fan of like pets.
Okay.
But I do want like later on like a pig or something.
Something random. A
Oh,
little small horse.
Yeah, like I
Okay.
want something like that. I was gonna get goats, but someone in my mom's group has a farm, and she was like, "Don't get goats because
Okay.
they'll break your windows and their
Oh.
neighbors' windows,
Oh no.
and they like to jump off of stuff."
Yeah, we also don't live in a farm area.
We don't.
Right?
Well, no, we do not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I live right on 75th Street.
Yeah, so
but
there's that.
but I guess I figured. She told me though I can have chickens.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get. I mean, like I'm zoned for chickens, but I feel like you can sneak in like an animal.
Oh my god. Okay.
But yeah, I was all about
I'll
goats.
stay tuned.
Yeah, I was all about goats until she was like, "No, they'll break your windows and they like to jump off high stuff."
Yes. Yeah.
And you have to get 2 of them because otherwise the other one they'll get depressed,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
And I just don't want them breaking. Like we just got new windows, so I don't want them breaking my windows.
No.
And then I don't want them breaking. I mean, I live right next door to like my in-laws and my husband's like
Yeah.
aunts and uncles. And I don't think they would like. So my goat dreams are dead.
Okay.
So we're going with pigs.
Okay. Like a micro pig or
Well,
whatever?
micro pigs I heard still like grow big, which
Oh.
I'm fine because
Okay.
people have like what are those big dogs called? You know, like Great Danes and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
those
Oh,
are
I
like
had an
100.
English Mastiff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Oh my
175
God.
pounds. Yeah.
Oh my God, but they are such sweet
Yes.
spirits.
Oh my God. He was such a
Oh,
lover.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they are. My sister-in-law has a big one named
Yeah.
Cash, and he's everything. He's huge and he drools tons, but like
Yes. Yes.
the kids just love him, and he just like lays.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
But where was I going with? Oh yeah, but the pigs are the same kind of like they get people have ginormous dogs. Why can't they have a ginormous pig?
I guess that's a good point.
Right? Thank
Yeah.
you. But I want to keep it inside. My husband's like, no, we got a pig. You got to go outside. Right? We'll
Yeah.
see. He don't know. He doesn't know till we get it.
That's how it was with Drew. He was
Uh-huh.
like not having it with this cat, and now like I'm not gonna say he's obsessed, but he's obsessed with the
Right?
cat. Yeah.
Well, cats are so much. I mean, they have their own personalities and stuff, but they're a lot easier. You can leave them
Yes.
for a while,
Yeah.
and they're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't need you.
Yeah.
They're independent. They're like independent women.
Yes. Yeah.
Is yours a boy or a girl?
Little girl.
Little girl. Oh.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Birdie.
Birdie. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I love that.
Birdie. Little birdie girl.
Aw.
Mhm.
So, the podcast is named Image Bearers.
Yes.
What does that mean to you? When I say that, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are being like Jesus,
All right.
being an image bearer, just like
Okay.
him, doing what he did, trying. I should
Right.
say, not
Yeah, we're all
doing.
human.
We're
We're
trying,
right.
trying to live like him.
Side note.
Yes,
Side
yeah, that part. And just being a model of what he was like.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. It's easier said than done.
yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Because we're all human and
Mhm.
stuff. But I was talking to someone else about this and stuff, and like that he came down in this world human form,
Right.
and there were so many times where he could just be like, deuces, this
Yeah.
is not for me, I'm out.
Mhm.
But that he still stayed in the suffering.
Yeah.
So that we could, like, that we're not alone.
Yeah.
In the suffering. Like he felt the stuff we have felt.
Mhm.
Which
He's
is
so
always,
good.
it didn't really hit until I became like, so I went to a Christian school, and so I was always taught these things.
Right.
But then, like, it didn't hit until, like, I became older, and maybe I started, like, actually, like, suffering in
Or
life.
your prefrontal cortex developed.
Also, you were just hitting me with all this basic stuff. It could totally, oh my God, Stephanie, it totally,
mid-20s.
it was.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
You were bringing up so much stuff. Like,
Good.
we should have, like, therapy time with Stephanie. 'Cause you were just,
You're
you
not
were,
the first person to say that.
right? You were
Mhm.
reading me like a book right
Mhm.
now.
I like it. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, and so then like one time I was, I don't know, I think I was watching like a podcast on YouTube, and someone said that, and I was like, oh, like I heard it so many times, but it's that thing where like you hear it so much,
Yeah.
and then there's just that one
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so that's what was
That's what
being
that
said.
is. Yeah.
Because the whole time I thought people were just, just telling me like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's cool. That's
Yep.
cool. But then like once I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, like I heard the analogy of this, like, before Jesus died when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he was like sweating blood. And it was like he was also suffering so bad anxiety that he was sweating.
But
Like
yeah.
he was like, think about, because I never had like, in nursing school, I had like panic attacks.
Mhm.
Before that, I never really had like some kind of anxiety.
Mhm.
Now I do like off and on, but that's just because I'm a mom.
Yeah.
But, and like, I was just like, oh my God, that like hit, because I was like, because I used to be like, the Lord don't know this because he's perfect. Like
Yeah.
he's perfect. He came
But he
down.
was human.
He was human form. But like, he also, like, he knew what's up. But like, even though he knew what's up, like, we know that like in this world, there's going to be suffering, but we have that like eternity mindset, like that,
Mhm.
like, there's going to be a day when it's going to be no suffering. The Lord's going to come.
That's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah.
going to be so nice.
Yeah.
But in that, it's like, he knew that too, but he still was so anxious. He was sweating blood.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I mean, it doesn't give me a pass to be like anxious Annie all the time.
I was gonna say, so when I'm like having major anxiety, I'm gonna be like, oh, just like Jesus.
Right?
Yes,
Right?
crushing it today.
Right. But it is to a point, like,
Yeah.
he could have been like, Lord, just take me right now.
Right.
He had that, but he was like, no, I'm going to sit in this anxiety to the point where I'm sweating blood.
Yeah.
Which is such a, like, a big thing. It's
Mhm.
such a wig snatch, shocking moment,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, like he could have any time taken himself out of
Right.
this.
But chose not to.
He chose not to.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
It is. It's so like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about it, but it could be because my cortex
Prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was not developed. And then now, which totally makes sense now. That just cracks me up. I feel like you've been reading me this whole time, and I'm fine. I mean, like, I'm
You're
fine.
good
I got
with
no
it.
shame.
Yeah.
I got no shame with
Yeah.
it. Was
That
it?
comes from trauma too.
Oh,
just by
does
the
it?
way, is reading people. Yeah, to be prepared just in
Right?
case.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's also, oh
Mhm.
gosh, we can go, we
Mhm.
can go down a whole.
There are some superpowers that come from having trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's also God being like generous in that. Like the thing is, out of something bad could be something
Yes,
good.
absolutely. Like everything bad that happened in my life, something good came from it, right? Like I
Right.
wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't.
Isn't that crazy to
Yeah.
say? I know one time I was playing a game this summer and there were like one of the questions, like my husband loves these like deep, like getting like dinner parties and
Okay.
then like having deep conversations. But, and so one of the questions was like, if you could redo anything in your life and take it back, what would you redo? And everyone else had to answer. And then I was like, to be honest, nothing. Because it wouldn't have been like, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Exactly.
Like
Hands
all
down.
this hurt I have,
Mhm.
it does suck. And it was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
But like it made me who I was and it made me more empathetic and more seeing people
Mhm.
because of it.
Yeah.
Like all these bad, like I had like an emotionally abusive boyfriend, like all this stuff. But then it also made me stronger and also made me see that the Lord is kind.
Right. Yeah. I think the only thing I would change is the inability to apologize.
Right.
That's the one thing. Like I wouldn't change the actions that happened, but the inability to apologize to some of the people that I hurt.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's my only hiccup. But thank God for my program because I can make a living amends.
Right.
And that's just treating those who, like my ex-husband, was
Yeah.
not kind to him.
Mhm.
So I'm very kind to my husband now.
Yeah,
So
right.
because I'll
Yeah.
never be able to make that apology to my ex-husband. So, but that would be the only thing that I would change would be to have the ability to apologize to the people I hurt, but I would still keep it the way it is because
Right.
every day am still amazed at what my life is.
Right.
It's just, yeah, I'm so grateful.
And that the Lord has, even the apology thing you said and stuff, I totally get.
Yeah.
But that the Lord has changed you, that you have a heart to apologize. Because
Right.
before you probably like, whatever,
No.
I'll do me.
Exactly.
I don't need to
Yep.
apologize.
No, you're the one that's wrong, not
Yeah.
me. I did what I did because what you did.
Right.
That was a big mindset for a
Uh-huh.
long time.
And I feel like I feel like everyone's gone through that kind of phase.
Yeah.
And some people are still in it.
Yeah.
We pray that they get out of it.
They get out of it for
right?
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's just not good for you or for the
No.
for people.
No.
But yeah, no, but it's, you say that and I definitely resonate with that and stuff. But it's also to me, it tells me like that you've grown to even identify that you can apologize and that like you
absolutely.
want to apologize
Yeah.
and you see that person not as them do. He probably had his flaws.
Right. We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all do.
Right. And
Right?
stuff, but you now also see your part in
Yeah.
that. It wasn't
Exactly.
just all him.
I can own my part of what happened
Right.
and things like that. Yeah.
But I think that's just, what you've gone through and that you have a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
And that that it's not like you can only do so much and then the rest is on the Lord.
Right.
Because there's going to be a day when even if you have to rely on the Lord.
Mhm.
Stuff can go smoothly for a while, but there's going to be that one time where we're human and we just
Yeah.
fail each other.
Yeah.
It sucks, but
It is what it is.
it is.
Mhm.
We're only human.
Correct.
I know. That's why we need the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
All right, I will end it on that. But do you have anything you would like to plug with Dove or anything that's on your heart?
Wendy probably nailed all of it.
Right?
I mean, I
killed
think
it.
my thing that I always really like when I do public speaking and stuff is I always remind people that there's always hope.
Mhm.
As cliche as it is, there is always hope.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds cliche, but it's also such a small thing to say, but it's also can be life-giving
It
to
can.
someone who needs to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. With that, Stephanie, thank you
Thank
so much. And again,
you.
this is Image Bearers. I'm your host, Lacey Connor.
Hi, guys.